11 years of attacks on our oil and gas sector completely resolved. All of a sudden, we have greater representation in the Senate because you signed this stupid piece of paper that you think is a wedge issue for some reason. But if you look at the Venn diagram of people who support the United Conservative Party and people who support separatism, it's a circle, you dunce. It doesn't alienate people from separatism. It drives them to it. When I see that, okay, so I get to be on the other side of an issue, then this crazy person, sign me up, sister. Like,
Game of politics.
I don't know how.
Where's my paper?
Yeah, like I'll sign the other one. Where's the other paper? I want that one.
Back to our
Danielle
normal
Smith has
programming.
said over and over again she's a federalist. She's not compelling the speech of her MLAs. They are basically staying out of this. In fact, I would suggest that they are doing things which undermine the efforts of the separatist movement by doing things like blocking MAID expansion in our province, starting our own police force. She's giving the separatists, like me, what we want without the 18 months of chaos of trying to leave the country. So I actually think that is helpful to Janice's cause of staying inside of the country. She just doesn't want to acknowledge that because then she'd have to say that Danielle Smith is doing the things that people want. That's a little too much honesty for these kookaroos.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that we hit the headliners there, and I know that we have to jet set off to various locations and things. Don't forget your flag. Do we have any super chats to get to? I think that was all.
Okay, that's it.
All right, so come back. Thanks everybody for joining us, tuning in, for those who generously donated and had your comments read on air. Always appreciate that. And we'll be back same time and place, different hosts tomorrow, Friday, from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern. So come back then. And until then, stay sane and question everything.
For a year now, and she was appointed to get since she's appointed, we've been getting disgusting stories every other week about non-citizens convicted of serious crime getting leniency in order to avoid deportation. She could have been lobbying her cabinet colleagues to make sure that laws are changed and that victims get the justice that they deserve, but she's done nothing. If the Prime Minister wants to move at a scale and speed for new generations, why doesn't he just fire his failed minister?
On my record and work on immigration, it speaks for itself. We're taking back the immigration system. We're returning immigration to sustainable levels. Our asylum levels are down by a third. The number of international students is down by a third. The no temporary foreign workers are down by a half.
Kill them all!
We have exceeded our francophone immigration projects. We are bringing global talents. From July to October 2025, the population of Canada increased slightly. We are on track to meet our targets.
The honorable member for Calgary knows him. Does speak for itself. Liberal members of Parliament had comments on her record today. They were quoted in a CBC article saying what millions of Canadians already know. The Prime Minister's immigration minister isn't getting her job done. She won't take basic meetings. Processing times haven't been fixed. And the asylum backlog has grown to 300,000 people under her watch. I've said it before, I'll say it again. She is a bad minister. The Liberal caucus doesn't even think she should have her job. Why is the Prime Minister still defending her?
I'm just riddled with arrows.
We are building an immigration system that is
She recruits not bad.
strong. That is our mission. That is our mandate. That is what Canadians elected us to do.
Yes.
That is what we will continue to do. In June, we introduced legislation C2 to protect the asylum system
look at this
against
Pelosi
sudden
looking
increases in claims. The Conservatives opposed it. In October, we brought forward new legislation C12
oppose your
that will
omnibus
protect
bills.
our borders and strengthen the immigration system.
That's
The
right.
Conservatives
Bullshit.
have delayed it at every stage.
Bullshit.
We're building an immigration system that is sustainable and that will keep Canada
No, you're
strong.
not. No, you're not. They're literally crushing the economy these last 15 years. Non-stop bullshit. Oh, you guys are done already? Alright. Peace. Listen to this guy.
You have ISIL or ISIS members
coming into a reintegration program. You did a backdoor deal with Omar Khadr with not even stepping into the courtroom.
Yeah, you have like
What
Canadian
veterans were you
soldiers with
talking about? Was
PTSD,
the
and then you have
ones
the
that
guys
fought
that they have
for the freedoms and values
PTSD
that you
over
so proudly
joining the same
boast about?
program.
Or was it the ones who fought against?
Fucking crazy.
Because honestly, Mr. Prime Minister, I was
We support
prepared
all soldiers with
to be injured
PTSD,
in the
even
line
if
of
you were
duty
one of the soldiers that our soldiers went across
What I
the
wasn't prepared for,
pond
Mr.
to
Prime
fight,
Minister,
and now you're here
is Canada
as a
turning its
refugee.
back on me.
Come on in. We'll figure it out once you get in the building and cause the veterans in Canada to fucking
Why are we still
freak out.
fighting against certain veterans groups in court? Because they're asking for more than we are able to give right now. They are asking for more. Than
Yikes answer.
Well, no. Hang on.
Oh,
You're
hang on.
You're asking for honest answers.
Hang on. My mom just has to do a speech at this company for $250,000.
I'm Frank Vaughn. It's February 26th, 2026, and I guarantee you haven't seen that clip in a long time. One of the honors of my life was having a conversation with that veteran in the wake of that clip.
Every single one of these
And that
guys
moment
got
of
wiped the
silence
fuck
that you heard
out.
at the end was just a
They got in doing
scrolling
that.
list of the various expenses that Trudeau was running at the time. But this is important and relevant
Jesus
today
Christ.
because back then,
This guy's loud as
that clip
fuck.
was taken about 2018. National debt in this country was roughly $671 billion.
Okay, now it's a little.
Which is a big enough problem. But as of early 2026, it's somewhere in
What
the
you're right
neighborhood
about there.
of 1.29 to 1.47 trillion.
It's too
No
low.
one really knows. It's too big a number to count.
Oh, it's already at
And
65.
Mark Carney is piling on the deficit spending. I said at the beginning of this year, and in the first projection that the Prime Minister gave of their spending, that they would be north of $100 billion deficit by the time it was all
Okay,
done.
so
And I guarantee you,
this
and a few
fucking
guarantees
whole
I'll give
army
you
just
is that
got
by the end
wiped
of this,
out
if
to
we don't
hell.
use some kind of mathematical charade,
I don't know what
we
you
will be
want me to
another
do
$100
about
billion
this.
in debt by the end of this year. And the fact is, we have money for all kinds of nonsense, as you're going to see.
Oh, fuck.
But to this
Can they come
day,
siege
we
this?
still
Okay, they
don't
can't. They don't.
have
Oh, they
money
do have enough. I was
to
gonna say they don't have
pay
enough. I was like,
veterans.
oh,
In
400
fact,
guys. They can't
we're
siege
nickel
a.
and diming them to death. But I'm not going to
You
show
can't
you
siege a city with
documentation
600
that actually
defenders and then
cares about this.
500
You
more
check
guys
out
show up.
the work
They have about
of the
1,000
Royal
units.
Canadian Legion.
They could probably siege
You'll check out the
Danistica.
National Council
If I'm in
of
there, we could
Veterans
probably actually survive
Associations.
it. But, let's go
Figures
help
like
these guys.
Sean Bruyere, BRUYEA.
Oh,
He's a
damn.
prominent veterans
You guys
advocate.
probably have some good loot. Give me that.
The government has
How did you beat a
introduced
fucking-
changes to how it takes care of veterans, but they amount to nickel and diming them out of their benefits. That's what we do to our military people. We put them in barracks
These guys
that
gotta
are
have
filled
some
with
dirty
forever
loot.
chemicals that are slowly killing them.
They just
We paint rainbow
fucking murdered a
sidewalks
fucking
and
lord.
humiliate them by making them raise their feet whenever they drive over them. We force mandatory DEI training. We've got money for all of that. We leave them without sufficient munitions. We humiliate them by sending them into exercises with our allies, now apparently our enemies. We're our strategic adversary, as Mark Carney identified as China, but now they're our allies. We have them operating police stations. We have them training their troops for Arctic warfare so they can more easily take us over. And we're thumbing our nose.
They don't need to
at the
take us
Americans
over.
every
They
chance
have
we
the,
get.
the numbers that
But
just
the
say
Americans are
we're
supposed
taking
to
over
be Our
Canada.
natural ally in NATO, and we send
They
our
could just
forces
present
to
data
train
to
with
us and be like,
with
we have
insufficient
over
blank ammunition,
2
so they
million
have to run around
Chinese
the woods
and
and bang.
5 million Indian people who will
Protects our people.
immediately defect to our side.
Leaves them
There
to
is no
struggle.
need for war. You have already
Unless
lost.
service. Here we have this. Carney pledges sanctions. $2 billion for Ukraine. 4 years after this. Have another $2 billion for Ukraine and other
Bitch.
funding announcements. We're more than
Stop.
happy to kill and encourage the killing
Fire bow at my
mass
motherfucker. Do it, bitch
just
ass.
to keep this war going. We're willing to do
I think we're fucking trained in this shit.
We're willing to send our treasure over
Cut you,
there.
bitch.
We don't have enough money to take care of the people. And that's what this is. The full-scale invasion that shows back before everybody was told that the most important thing they could do was put a Ukrainian flag in their bio, and we must support Ukraine with all our time and treasure. by all parties in Parliament, by the way. We, to the point where, one of the things about the State of the Union, the other thing that happened is they brought American war heroes. Trump brought American war heroes in to celebrate them. You could pick that apart if you want. You could pick apart the American role at the end of the war and preserving a lot of elements of the Nazi regime. We can do that. But the fact of the matter is, these men had nothing to do with the machinations of their government. And they went to war and they fought and they get celebrated and they get recognized. They get recognition for it. And there's no doubt that even though there's still problems in the United States, they take far better care of their people than we take care of ours. We brought a Ukrainian neo-Nazi to our parliament and gave him a standing ovation. Now, this is back when some members of the Conservative caucus still had an ounce of courage before the PR people took over, and there was the slow clapping debacle at the very earliest, before the controversy truly broke. One of the early criticisms that only lasted an hour was that the Conservatives weren't applauding this neo-Nazi with enough vigor. Maybe they knew something we didn't, and maybe you can criticize them for standing up and applauding the guy. That's what we do in contrast with what the Americans do. Another $2 billion. Ukraine is the most corrupt government. It is a totalitarian government. There's no freedom of the press. They haven't had elections. They will not have elections. Zelensky is under investigation for corruption. He's had some of his people around him arrested. And Canada's just getting deeper and deeper in bed with this regime, which is horrible to its people. It's literally killing its young people off in a war that doesn't have to be fought. A realistic peace agreement could be signed anytime. It's Europe that keeps the war going, and they're gaslighting and lying when they blame Russia for it. Now, there was a time when the media told some truth when it came to Ukraine, and that was before the direct Russian invasion, and we had reports from United Nations organizations, human rights organizations. I've covered them in depth on this channel. You can probably search my video content just for the word Ukraine, and you'll find the information about what the regime of Zelensky, which we installed, by the way, the West installed, NATO installed in 2014, was a government in Ukraine that was duly elected, and we didn't like them. So we overthrew them and installed the party that Zelensky now leads. But even in the wake of that coup, we still told the truth on occasion about the cultural and ethnic cleansing that was going on in eastern Ukraine at the time. Because this government was trying to stomp out the Orthodox Russian Church, was trying to stomp out Russian culture, was trying to get rid of the language, and basically destroy these people's identities. They were shelling civilians, they were doing all sorts of horrible things in eastern Ukraine, and we used to talk about that. And then, after 8 years of nonsense, the Russians finally got involved. And there are people who say it's a full-scale invasion, like CTV right now. Whereas NATO has inserted itself in many nations' business over the course of time. Between Libya, Gaddafi, the person and the figure that was holding the three tribes that made Libya together, we went in, killed him. We had boots on the ground. We don't talk about that. It wasn't just a bombing campaign. There were special forces operational in Libya that enabled the takedown of Gaddafi. And now it is a nightmare. It is not the most advanced country in Africa anymore. It's a nightmare with human slave markets. That's a NATO legacy. What we did in Syria, Assad held the nation together. The Christians, the Druze, all of the various peoples who lived there had a chance to live together because of the government that was set up. The whole country's artificial. If you want to go over and do a geopolitical breakdown of how artificial the borders in the Middle East are, we could do that. That's a whole other story. But Assad was removed. Rebellions against him were funded. And now, Christians are getting mass slaughtered in Syria. We have put an ISIS man in charge.
Oh my God, why?
It's NATO for you. That's what the CIA likes. That's what the British like. That's their plan. What was done in Iraq? Saddam Hussein, whether you liked him or not, kept the tribes of Iraq together. We removed him. And Iran is a nightmare for its own people, and it's not friendly to the West. We're doing official drives to sign up volunteers to go fight to defend Iran. Once upon a time, Iraq and Iran were enemies. And we did so much damage to drove Iran this country far away from the Atlantic. Anybody they're just not telling you the truth. It's not ignorance. It's a deliberate lie. It's a talking point. It's a neocon, neoliberal talking point. And now, even though it's going to be America largely on its own outside of NATO, looking at doing the same thing in Iran. And Iran's a different beast. Civilization, it's largely Persian. I'm getting distracted already. Back to Ukraine. We don't tell the truth about Iran. We just keep dumping money into this illegal, ill-constituted government that is in control there and is literally engaged in the mass slaughter of its own people to keep its own power in play. Because it's not about winning the war. Ukraine can't win the war. It's certainly not about preserving the lives of Ukrainians. They're the ones doing the suffering. They're the ones doing the dying, particularly in the East, where people predominantly identify with the Russians and not Western Ukraine. This is a problem with artificial borders. But that's one thing that Canada has all kinds of money for. It's keeping the war going, keeping Ukraine going, while they're trying to take peaceful, lawful gun owners' firearms here in Canada. And at one point, they were going to steal your property and they were going to give it to Ukraine. And Ukraine is so addicted and so used to basically dictating what kind of welfare they get, that in spite of the fact that they signal to the world that their need is dire at all times, there's also the fact that a lot of the weapons that we divert to Ukraine end up sold on the black market, and we're going to have to deal with those consequences over the course of time. When Canada said we're going to steal the people's firearms, we'll give them all to Ukraine, Ukraine said, no, too backwards. They're not good for military applications. At the same time as the government of Canada wants you to believe that the rifles that they're stealing, that's what it is, it's theft. The rifles that they're stealing, military grade, assault style. You know, a lot of them are just hunting rifles. Another regime that Canada has got money for, as we rob our veterans and we have our own problems and starving people, and we're running a $100 billion deficit. We're printing money recklessly, even though we're supposedly not in a crisis, as capital flees the country. As Doug Ford dumps out Crown Royal and takes a leap right on a company that's already struggling, and we'll talk about that. Cuba running on fumes as Canada considers sending relief what amounts to an oil blockade poses unprecedented threat to the ruling party's grip. What amounts to an oil blockade is a threat to the ruling party's grip. The choice of headline and the way that they frame this, the ruling party of Cuba, the Castros, and the extended family around them are rich. They live like kings. Most of their wealth is stored outside of Cuba. People don't know this. They never miss a meal. They do find for themselves. It's the Cuban people who suffer. And while we are readying $8 million in food aid to Cuba as humanitarian crisis deepens, the article is short on details as to what guarantees it will just be food aid, where that money is going to go. Cuba is a nation getting backwards. And the interesting thing is one of the sent me down a rabbit hole was a friend of mine, a longtime friend. There's a fella on Twitter who's really upset with me, really likes to talk about himself. And he's like, I don't like your anecdotes, man. I don't care. I'm trying to build a relationship of trust, a relationship of reality. Show me it's real. Whether I'm right, whether I'm wrong, whether you agree, whether you disagree, it's real. And I'm not here to speak about it. I'm here to lie to you. My friend is real, that I trust. He's sending me pictures of his recent walking trip in Cuba. He sent me a picture of a shed. It should be attention. I've got 2 falling down sheds in my house, leaky roofs, and if they need some money and time that I don't have, they're there. The shed was in worse shape than my sheds. It informs me that a family lived there. That was just one of the pictures. There's many more. There's no doubt. It's incontestable nation is on its way to September, saying you're going to be hunting just to survive the world, and that the country would be bankrupt in 18 months or less, not years, but a year and a bit, maybe. Down the path that we are on. That's what Carney's appointed guy told you. Well, Mark Carney and Stephen Harper are out there. There's no sacrifice too great. You're going to have to take your belts, get used to higher taxes, lower service quality, if you can imagine that, lower standard of living on an ongoing basis, and there's no sacrifice too great to save this nation. I'm telling you, you're going to suffer. They got $2 billion for Ukraine. Global Affairs Canada is still funding billions of dollars. One of the contracts in the State of the Union. By the way, we showed them! Because it was brought up after the Epstein debacle. You can never forgive the president. I'm right with you. I don't know why they're choosing to cover this up, but that's exactly what they're doing. The British have arrested and charged 2 people. The Americans have arrested and charged nobody. There's resignations. People know they're guilty. They partook of Epstein's services in his honeypot operation. For some reason, it's being stonewalled. Of course, Trump didn't talk about it in the State of the Union because the only thing that he keeps saying is everybody needs to forget about this hoax. It wasn't a hoax. It was one of the biggest intelligence operations in the history of intelligence, and it was dirty, it was seedy, it was perverse. And we need justice on that, and it doesn't change anything. The things that I'm saying about other aspects of the State of the Union. But at least the administration is actually trying to take down fraud and calling out the fraudulent abuse, talking about Somali pirates in no uncertain terms and taking apart U.S. aid, which set alarm bells off in Canada because a lot of that treasure, in addition to the trade surplus that we benefit from the United States, they're also, or they were, engaged in sending U.S. tax dollars into programs that Canada funds overseas, our pet projects. And so we were upset with that, and we offered to step into the gap, even though we don't have any money, to keep the fraud cycle alive. At least the Americans are trying to do something about it. Meanwhile, here in Canada, Canadian HELOC debt climbs to $179 billion. Highest level since 2019. People didn't even lean on their home equity loans as hard during COVID. Home equity debt sitting at roughly $179.5 billion. Highest level in nearly 6 years, again, skipping that whole 2021 period. It's breaking upwards. Annual growth is accelerating with some minor seasonal variance. HELOC balances have climbed 3.85%, which is ahead of the CPI, which is, it's like there's the inflation problem. There's the fake inflation number problem. But then you have to realize that if you're in debt, whether you have a mortgage, you have credit card debt, auto debt, because it notes here as well, credit use is rising with consumer and lender confidence fueling consumption. I don't believe we're confident at all. I think people are broke. After all, when times are good, both groups are confident in the outlook and ability to repay debts. That's not what's happening now. Today's conditions resemble the investor-fueled borrowing seen in 2017. At the time, regulators flagged the issue largely concentrated in Greater Toronto. So if people are, see, 2017, you had that bull run in crypto, and that was where the bull run in real estate valuations was accelerating to its 2022 peak. People are speculating, they're buying second properties, they're dumping all their money into crypto. But there's also the fact that people just can't afford to live. So they're leaning on borrowing now just to survive. And so on top of the inflation is the interest you have to pay on the money that you are making, where wages are not keeping up with either of those things. I mean, the bottom line is people are getting screwed in a very compounding way in this country while we're giving millions to Cuba, while we're giving billions to Ukraine, while we're still funding Global Affairs Canada, shipping treasure overseas. We could save tens and tens of billions of dollars if we just cut the foreign aid. I've been meaning to bring this forward for a while. Like I could literally do a 3-hour show every single day. I would have no time for anything else. And I don't think I have enough of an audience to warrant such a long show, but government announces 30-year amortizations for insured mortgages and to put home ownership in reach for millennials and Gen Z. Just take the spin out of it. This is actually from July 29th, 2024. There was a lot of controversy from the left and from Canadians when Donald Trump decided to roll out 30-year mortgages for Americans. There was all this commentary at the time, and I wish I had found the time to actually address the fact that Canada rolled it out first. It's a clever way of hiding the financial problems that people are in by burying them under even more.
Promote affordability.
Actually watch this insanity live.
I
Hell
wonder
yeah.
where my colleague was when she could have been voting for pharmacare. Where was she when she could have been voting for dental care? Where was she when we were voting for the National School Lunch Program and for childcare? On this side of the House, we will always be there for Canadians.
The
We
liberal
will support
argument is that
Canadians with affordability measures.
conservatives are not allowing them to give the people pennies
Where is the minister
because they're voting
who's supposed to
against.
be
So
helping
the liberals put in a
take
bill and
care
they
of
say we're going to help
seniors?
everyone and give everyone
For
money.
example, Jeanette
And then
Lavrier is 81
in the
years
small
old, and
print
she
of those
can't
bills, it
enjoy
says,
her
"Oh, by the
retirement.
way, we
Instead,
get
she's sending out CVs
all
because
power.
she
You
doesn't
can't
have
question
enough
our
money to
power.
put
All the
food on the
companies that we
table. In
invest your
Lanaudière,
taxpayer money in with
the
private
number of job
contracts
seekers above
can't be
75
questioned,
has gone from 3
and
to
the conservatives
14%.
can't pull this bill away."
These liberal
And that's what it
ministers
says
are
in the
not
fine
taking
print.
care
And
of
then
anyone, especially not
obviously the
seniors.
conservatives are going to say, "No, we're not going to pass
The
that because
Honourable
you need to
Minister of
fix these little
Finance,
things that say we get no power and you get all the
Mr.
power
Speaker,
and we can't question what you're doing." And
seniors
then
who
the
are
liberals
watching
go,
us
"Oh,
from
you
home
see? The
understand something.
conservatives
They know there's a
don't
difference
want to
between
give you
rhetoric in the
pennies
House and
to help
this
you.
government's
We're
actions.
going to do it."
We have taken clear
They're
action.
voting
For
against our
example,
bills. So that means they're
the
voting
groceries
against
benefit,
your
which
best
is a
interest in giving you
concrete
money.
measure which will help people throughout the country.
Please ignore the
and
little
will
clauses
help
in our bills that
seniors
say
and
we'll get
families.
unlimited
That
power that can't be
is
questioned.
exactly
We need that to give
what
you
people expect
pennies
from
to
a responsible
survive
government.
off of.
I hope our conservative colleagues will go to their ridings next week and talk about how that
This
benefit will
fucking
help
Jean-Philippe
families. The
François
Honourable Member from
Champagne.
Saint-Jean.
We are doing
Mr.
the best we
Speaker,
can
the
for the
Liberals have said that Curb is a
Canadians.
success
It's
story,
little Kermit the
but it's
Frog
actually
French
harming
fucking
85,000
accent.
retirees. Yesterday, the Minister of Jobs said that it's no big deal when people don't get
We
their
are
arrears,
doing the best we
because
can for
according
the
to her,
Canadians.
people don't depend on these payments on a
Why?
monthly basis because they are new beneficiaries. But all retirees include their pension when they're making their financial plans, and some of them only have their pension as an income. How can the Liberals be so disconnected? The Honourable Government House Leader.
Get ballistic.
Mr. Speaker, we have an outdated system from the 70s. It was causing so many mistakes, it was unreliable. So this government stepped up and decided to start a broad project to transform the system into a new functional system.
Oh, come on.
That enables people to sign up for themselves. It will serve 7.7 million Canadians. In fact, it's already helping these Canadians. The Honourable Member, well, the member is saying that it's working and that it hasn't been expensive. That is exactly why the National Assembly of Quebec has unanimously asked for an arm's length inquiry. Because if you listen to the Liberals, well, we'll never hear the truth about the current problems because they don't think there's a problem. They don't think it's an issue if 85,000 retirees are seeing errors with their pension. They don't think it's an issue. They don't think it's an issue if cost overruns are $5 billion. They don't see it as a cost overrun. They just say, well, it costs more than we planned at the beginning, but it's not a cost overrun. Listen, every time I hear their answers, we see that we need an inquiry. When will there be an inquiry? The Honourable Minister.
I'll get up again and explain exactly what we are doing here, which is exactly what Canadians expect, Mr. Speaker. They expect modern systems that provide benefits in a seamless way that they can actually apply for online, and that's exactly the programs that we are designing for seniors. 7.7 million seniors are already on the new system. There are 2 more benefits plans to go, Mr. Speaker, employment insurance and CPP. And Mr. Speaker, we are confident that Canadians know this is exactly what they need for the next generation.
The Honourable Member for Abitibi-Témiscamingue. Mr. Speaker, all of the Quebec parties want this government to stop wasting Quebecers' money. Like with Phoenix, Arrivecan, and Curram, every time Ottawa takes on one of these IT contracts, it turns into a scandal. Just with those 3 projects, the Liberals have wasted more than $10 billion in cost overruns. Meanwhile, Quebecers are seeing a situation where we don't even know if we have enough money for our kids' school trips. Quebec is fed up with this. When will there finally be an arm's-length inquiry on federal IT contracts? The Honourable Minister.
I think the question is about old age security, so I'll stick to that program. And in fact, that 60-year-old program, which was fraught with problems, was something that the Government of Canada sought to modernize, because in fact Canadians now expect to be able to apply for their benefits online, to be able to have more control about how they apply for their benefits. And in fact, 7.7 million Canadians have transitioned to this new program. For some particular cases with difficult information, we have seen some delays, and as that member knows, we are seeing a decline in...
The Honourable Member for Parkland.
Mr. Speaker, the situation out there is dire. After 11 years of Liberal inflation, housing unaffordability, and job insecurity, Canadians, particularly young Canadians, are facing the consequences. You know, we used to take pride in this country when we said that the next generation will be better off than the one before, but for young Canadians today, that just isn't the case. Under these Liberals, the well-off are better off than ever before, but those struggling to get ahead are falling further and further behind. When will these Liberals finally get off the backs of Canadians for a change?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Well, Mr. Speaker, this government is squarely focused on opportunity. And opportunity means good job opportunities, and opportunity means affordable homes. As the members might know, C4, our bill is in front of the Senate right now, and it's eliminating GST for first-time home buyers on homes up to $1 million. We have a bill in front of the House right now, Bill C-20 for Build Canada Homes, because we are focused on making sure that this generation of Canadians, millennials in particular, can get into the housing market and have an affordable home to build. But these Conservatives seem to want to stall our housing agenda every step of the way. They should get on board.
The Honourable Member for Parkland.
Well, Mr. Speaker, Liberal spin can't avoid the facts. Under this Prime Minister, the rich are getting richer, while working Canadians are falling further and further behind. Liberal inflation has made the bankers rich, but the cost of food, vehicles, and housing is out of reach. Young people are facing record high unemployment, and even those who are lucky enough to have a job can't even afford to pay their bills, let alone save for these million-dollar homes these Liberals are talking about. We need to restore jobs with powerful paychecks to ensure that the next generation can be better off. Conservatives are fighting for that future. When are these Liberals going to get on board?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Mr. Speaker, you know what Canadians are tired of? They are tired of this rhetoric that says that Canada is broken and we're not getting ahead. They elected a government with a plan, Mr. Speaker, a plan that is cutting taxes for 22 million Canadians, that is delivering a groceries and essentials benefit to put much-needed money back in the pockets of many Canadian families, that is committed to affordable childcare, saving families upwards of $10,000 a year. Those are measurable plans to make life better and more affordable for Canadians. We're proud of that. I wish the Conservatives would stand with us.
The Honourable Member for Cloverdale, Langley City.
All 5 of my children are married and raising families of their own, and like so many young Canadians, they're working hard just trying to not fall into debt. Home repairs, music lessons, cadet uniforms, gas to drive to activities, the everyday costs of raising a family, it all adds up. Saving is nearly impossible right now. 64% of millennials are worried about their future. Parents doing everything right, yet still falling behind. When will this government lower costs so Canadian families can stop worrying about just staying afloat and start planning for their future again?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister for Housing and Infrastructure.
Our government cares deeply about affordability for young Canadians. That's why we have the first-time home buyer relief for the GST before the House. That's also why
that's not even been fully implemented yet.
We're bringing it down by investing in housing enabling.
And they're only implementing that because Native people get it automatically. So if others that hear about that don't get it, they're going to cause a fucking riot. While they're already on the verge of causing a fucking riot because they can't buy a fucking bag of chips without spending $10.
I think the lives
Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Conservatives claim they care about young people, yet they voted against the National Housing Strategy. They voted against the Home Savings Bill. They voted against expanding mortgage criteria. They're voting against the GST. They're voting against C227 to establish a national strategy for housing for young Canadians. A vote against these measures is a vote against young Canadians.
The Honourable Member for Provencher.
Mr. Speaker, young Canadians
Provencher.
face rising food costs, rising debts, and rising house prices. You know what else is rising?
Yo,
their
bro, just
fears
give
about
up.
their
You wanna
futures.
duel me?
This
I
Liberal government only
get your
provides
shit
more
cooked.
excuses,
Oh shit.
more deficits, and more broken promises. My hometown of Steinbach, the price of a single-family
maybe
home
that.
has gone up 8% this last year. This
Man, just let me.
generation should be
Okay, you're not really helping me out here, boys.
They're falling further behind.
Oh, okay, I'll just die. Fuck it.
The desire of home ownership. When will this Liberal government finally lower the costs and make living in Canada affordable again?
Maybe he won't get his shit kicked in.
Look, Canadians are sick and tired of these alternative.
It's such a piss off when I go through that. Kill the fuck out of
We
it.
all know that food costs too much, but instead of exploiting the challenges that are facing Canadians right now, the Conservatives should do a little bit of reading and look into why food costs too much, Mr. Speaker. All the research indicates that 85% of the food inflation is due to imported factors like war and tariffs.
Oh, they keep repeating the same shit over and it's war, climate change, tariffs, anything but our shit fucking decisions. It's anything but us, guys. Trust me.
Why won't the Conservatives get on board and help a Canadian for a change?
Oh, that's so much. Oh man. Oh man, I went back so far. Romans, like.
After 11 years of these Liberals,
Wow, I've killed several bands of deserters.
Household debt alone is now a record $2.6
I get it on this? Who do I
trillion.
help?
A recent poll found 57% of millennials are nearly broke after paying monthly bills. A generation that should be building wealth is draining savings.
Everyone down!
Several universities they'll never afford a home.
Man, we just lost so much progress. So I fucking I should have saved. I should have scummed. I didn't think the AI was gonna go fucking ham on me like that, and I don't know. I forgot this game when you play it on normal mode, you literally have to go and psycho. I guess that's how you would do it in a war though. You would fucking go psycho. Kill everyone, move on to the next fucking guy. But using too much energy. Oh, Jesus Christ. I want to see Psycho. I'll show you Psycho. Call me the fucking meat cuber. Oh, there you go. Got you, bitch. Yeah, oh, and you're dead. And absolutely dead. Oh my god, he's still alive. What the fuck? There you go. Gave him the last little poke. Oh, someone shot him with an arrow as soon as I poked him with my sword. Get fucked. Get some kills. Did I get anything? I still have one guy in the chops.
Help was most welcome.
About the future.
Right.
And 40% fear that they'll
Black
never be able to
guy.
pay back their
Yeah, let's
debts.
see if we can
Meanwhile, TransUnion
recover this. We went up here. There was a fucking hideout. I can't believe I fucking fucked myself this far back.
After years of liberal
Go up here. We kill this hideout. I was chasing guys down there for a while.
How many more failures do we need before the Liberals finally admit that they have broken affordability in Canada? The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Housing.
Okay, what the fuck? Okay, wait, are hideouts like procedurally generated then? What the fuck?
We have taken a number of measures to help young Canadians buy a home. Build Canada homes will reduce pressure on the market and lower prices. And beyond that, it's ironic to hear the Conservatives complain about this, given that they voted against.
Bro, they keep repeating themselves over and over and over again.
Mortgage criteria and
Conservatives keep talking about food being unaffordable and housing being unaffordable, but they vote against our bills.
This side of the house.
They're the problem.
We are in solution.
Like, what?
But they
Conservatives are like, everybody's poor and you can't afford anything because every bill that you pass is a failure. And you have these little omnibuses, these little subtext under your bills that not only, after all the helping people shit, it's give us all the power and you can't question it. So in good conscience, the Conservatives can't agree with those bills.
They are getting
But then
rid
the
of right to
the
have a
liberals
commissioner.
double speak and
They
back
are
talk.
getting rid of community impact studies, and they're
Like,
preventing farmers
it's
who
fucking
might
just
experience
a big
disaster
loop.
from
It's
rebuilding.
insane.
No one else in Canada has to put up with this kind of thing. Why do people on the North Shore end up being treated like second-class citizens by this government? The Honourable Minister of Transport. Mr. Speaker, we know that the Bloc Québécois is opposed to this major project, the high-speed rail project between Quebec City and Toronto. This is a
Quebec is
project that all
opposed to the
Canadians really want
high-speed
to see.
rail.
We
I'm
are
so
going to ensure that
confused.
this
What?
project is done properly, respectfully. We will show respect for farmers, elected officials,
Farmers my
community
dick.
members along the proposed route.
No.
The high-speed
Yeah,
rail project
by
is for
offering
all
them
Canadians,
bullshit,
and we will
by putting a lien on all their
ensure that it is
land and then
implemented in a
fucking
sensible
offering
manner.
bullshit outs.
The honourable member. Well, Mr. Speaker, despite what the
This
minister
hideout's
says,
still here.
if the Liberals really want to succeed
So
with their
fucking
high-speed
confused.
rail project, they're not going to accomplish that by giving Alto these expropriation powers. They need social acceptability, and that's not what's happening right now. People in Mirabel, Mascouche, and Terrebonne want to be able to have input on the route. The entire region wants to see economic benefits. Farmers and people in general feel disrespected. When will the Liberals get back to the drawing board with everyone to ensure that they can finally obtain social acceptability? The Honourable Government House Leader. Mr. Speaker, Alto has a mandate to carry out consultations on the ground. It will be listening to people's ideas, concerns throughout the proposed route. And in fact, they had a consultation this very week. They have had consultations in Montreal. We will continue to listen closely to what people have to say, and we will continue to advocate for this major national interest project. Will the Bloc Québécois do the same?
Honourable member for Calgary Midnapore.
The government told Canadians their new benefits software program would cost $1.75 billion and that it would not be launched without conditions of success being met. Estimates have the actual cost at almost 3 times as much, $6.6 billion. And reports confirm that the government's own service standards are not being met. In fact, last month there was a backlog of 85,000 new benefit applications. These are Canadians who need these benefits for basic essentials like food and shelter. Can the minister explain to seniors who are forced to pay the price of yet another failed Liberal program why it is way over budget?
The Honourable Minister for Jobs and Families.
Well, I think, Mr. Speaker, let's start with the
Fucking
difference
Hadju.
between
How does
cost
Pouty
and
Hadju still in
expenditure.
Parliament? Like talking
An
about all the
estimate is
fucking
what things
incompetent
might cost.
MPs. Like
In fact, we're way
her
under the
qualifications. She's like she tries to relate to the people. I think she was homeless once. Okay, her parents are rich as fuck. She wasn't homeless. She ran away from home. She chose to leave her rich parents' house.
under their 10 years of government.
She's a little nepo baby that just wanted to run away. She's not a fucking homeless person that struggled. Her parents were poor. She had no other option to live on the street. She chose to fucking live on the street. She tries to say that, oh, that's her. That's why she initially got her job as the fucking minister of like fucking. It's like mental health or fucking. I don't know. Her original minister job was
Should do
ridiculous.
her research. She should be well aware that the Auditor General confirmed in 2023 and 2025 that program costs had increased significantly and would continue to rise. A review by the Treasury Board in 2022
Boys,
came
come on.
to the same conclusions, and her own department had to push back the OAS migration 3 times. In fact, 3 years ago, her bureaucrats admitted the costs had already doubled for the new program, even though no benefits had yet moved to the new system.
Nobody gets money. Their programs exist. Their programs get millions of dollars, and then they report, oh, the program's made gajillions of dollars. Didn't distribute it to anyone. But they exist. The programs are there. Eventually, they'll give money to people. Just need more money. Like, I don't get how $1 trillion of debt was a joke 6 months ago, and now they're like, oh yeah, Canada's just gonna go under $2.51 trillion of debt. Like, what? They just slipped that in. People are like, oh yeah, that's fine. Right, sure. That sounds alright. I think it's gonna get more expensive, right? How are you gonna pay $2.1 trillion back? You gotta print more money. The more money you print, the less valuable it is. People just don't get that. I just don't understand. Like fucking retarded.
Has caused
Canadians
We trying to have like
$5
China
billion
fucking
more than what was originally
Japanese
budgeted.
money, where you
To add
it's
insult to
normal to
injury,
spend like
hundreds of seniors
increments
have
of
been delayed from
trillions of
receiving their
dollars.
benefits.
Oh yeah,
An
can I have a piece of
overdue
bread? Yeah, it's
update to
only
an
a fucking
outdated
2 million
technology
fucking
has
yen.
turned
Okay,
into
yeah,
a
that makes sense.
nightmare for
No, it's not what I
Canadians
wanted to do.
with tens of thousands of cases backlogged. Why is it that Liberal governments always massively exceed their projected costs? And why are seniors forced to pay the price for their incompetence and yet another failed federal software system?
I didn't want to have to do this. I wanted my whole team to just jump you, but I pushed the wrong button. Anyway, that's what I mean. You can't go easy on the computer. You can't relax. You just gotta go fucking full psycho.
My mother was 10 years
Is he looking at his phone or is he sleeping?
on the other side hadn't been born yet. That is what they are suggesting
Oh, the Canadian
government move forward with.
combination of both.
That the Auditor General flagged
Do I still have these? Okay, I still have these. Okay, so that other
we need to modernize our system.
worked out. Okay, that's
This system has already brought 7.7 million
Sure.
seniors on board. More will come.
So I did save it. Sakanis created an army. Okay, we gotta link up with Sakanis, but we gotta pass by Husk Folk shit. Hey, we wanna fuck up his supply chain, so what we're gonna do is
Canadian seniors deserve better than denial.
sit right at this bridge.
The same question, and I'd
See
like
what
a
happens.
serious
Let's
answer
get this
from
shit
the
out.
minister. Why can't the Liberals stay on budget? And why are our
Sakanis
seniors
is right
being
here.
forced to pay the price for yet
Okay, they're
another
attacking
Liberal failure?
Shibble Zoomer Castle.
Mr. Speaker, it would be nice to have a serious question. One rooted in facts.
Yes.
One rooted in numbers.
Here.
To date, $1.5
Yo,
billion
liberals do
has
not
been
present
spent.
facts and numbers.
I don't know where their numbers are coming from. La La Land, perhaps. But let's stay in reality here, Mr. Speaker. This benefit system is modernizing something from 1966.
Wow.
7.7 million seniors are better serviced today. We are modernizing it, bringing it online.
That's right.
Things the Conservatives don't give a crud about.
Give a crud about.
I don't quite know what to make of that. The honourable member for King Vaughan.
Mr. Speaker, the system meant to help our seniors becomes another expensive
Bottleneck the enemy
disaster.
right here.
This government continues to hire
Hope that he doesn't send someone out.
consultants that massively overrun their budgets by $5 billion. The president of the public service criticized the government, saying if the system had been designed by public servants, it would have been easier to maintain and understand, as the experts would have been in-house. Why doesn't this government trust our public servants that they would do a better job than their rich consultants?
The Honourable Secretary of State.
I mean, I really like Anna, but I'm pretty sure my
Mr.
mother's drug was
Speaker,
like that.
I just can't tolerate the Conservatives talking down the good work of our public servants. Our public servants are overseeing the management of a specialized software program. Now, I know that they might not have any
I'm not looking to kill peasants, I'm just looking to fuck the enemy supply chains up.
but this requires specialized
You may pass.
expertise.
Take
These
off.
are not jobs that last
Sorry if your king is a dick and kills you.
we need to procure
My bad.
for specific reasons. That's what we are doing to make sure the Canadians' dollars are well spent.
Sure, my boy's okay here raiding the shit.
L'honorable député d'Acadie Bathurst.
The Honourable Member for Acadie Bathurst.
The Minister of Finance will say it's already Thursday, but we still have good news. Dans ma province, Nouveau-Brunswick.
In New Brunswick.
As we say in Quebec, it's already Thursday, but we still have good news. What?
25,000 jobs
What?
and inject huge amounts into our economy.
I've been French
every
my whole
year.
life, and
The United States
know that, so.
imposed unfair tariffs on our softwood lumber.
C'est déjà
As a
jeudi, puis il y a
response,
des
the
bonnes
government has
nouvelles.
already announced 2.5
Bro, how did he?
million.
How?
We know that people
How did
need
this guy get
more
away
help.
from me?
Can my colleague inform us of
Tripping
new
the
measures announced to
balls.
support the forestry industry? The
I'm gonna
Honourable
keep
Minister
myself
for the
here
Arctic
until this
and
guy
North.
totally wrecks this whole village.
Acadie Bathurst for his leadership in fighting for our forest workers. And I fully agree, our forestry sector is essential to our country. Yesterday, our government announced the reopening of 4 programs to support support the forestry sector, as well as funding to strengthen forestry companies in New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. These programs will deliver $500 million to support innovation, market diversification, and the competitiveness of our forest companies. Our government will always stand for forestry workers in the face of American tariffs.
The Honourable Member for Louis Saint Laurent at Wenrac. Mr. Speaker, whenever the Liberal government takes on a major IT program project, it ends in disaster. Remember ArriveCan? It was supposed to cost $80,000, but it ended up costing $59.5 million. And now we have Curam. It was supposed to cost $1.6 billion. It cost $6.6 billion. That's $5 billion more. That's $5 billion down the drain. How are these Liberals so incapable of managing their spending? The Honourable Government House Leader. Mr. Speaker.
Keep the prisoners on me, though.
In some cases, sometimes, I really wonder about the premise of opposition questions. But the member for Louis Saint Laurent knows better. He knows that this program is
There's only
within
190
budget.
dudes. Oh, 351.
He understands that the program is replacing outdated
Oh,
software from the
they're gonna cook
60s,
that up.
which was not best serving
They have another Army code
old
now.
age security recipients. Now we have a modern, up-to-date system giving 7.7 million Canadians and more their benefits. The Honourable Member for Louis Saint Laurent.
And for this to
at
get
Quebec.
his
Mr.
raiding
Speaker, thank you.
fixins.
I'm indeed the member for Louis Saint
Yeah,
Laurent.
they're doing
at
shit
Wenrac.
like on our end, but we're doing shit on their end too.
85,000 seniors
They may
are
be
affected,
sieging our
and
shit,
seniors are
but
among
we
the most
sieging their
vulnerable.
shit.
They
Plus we're
need
choking up their
old age
fucking
security payments.
supply
Unfortunately,
lines.
this very minister said that this program is a success story. He said there are only a few cases, 85,000 cases. That's how many there are. How is the minister so arrogant? The Honourable Government House
Okay,
Leader,
they're done
Mr. Speaker, what would
raiding
be
the fuck out
arrogant
of that.
would be to keep using a
Oh, shit.
system that was making more mistakes than that. It would have been arrogant to ignore
Nice, we got the castle
this
fucking
outdated system that was not precise and was constantly making mistakes. We would not do that, Mr. Speaker, so we took note of it, we set a budget, and in fact we were under budget. We're also delivering Canadians a system that will make payments precisely and correctly. And if there are any cases, we will help people one by one, and the number of cases is going down every day. The Honourable Member for Montmorency, Charlevoix. Mr. Speaker, the Champlain Bridge in Montreal, 60 million cars cross it every year. When it was 75 years old, it was replaced, and that replaced project cost $4.2 billion. On the other hand, we have 60-year-old computer software. It's supposed to serve 7 million people. There were cost overruns of $5 billion. $5 billion. How is that even possible? That's more than it costs to rebuild one of the busiest bridges in America. The Honourable Minister of Jobs and Families.
The software system. In fact, it's going to serve three separate. In fact, it's going to. Sorry, Mr. Speaker, can I continue? Thank you.
No. Can I continue? No. That's hilarious.
The honourable minister may continue.
Couldn't be this easy, is it?
Mr. Speaker, let's take a step back.
Of course not.
Curum is a software system. It's
Fuck, am I
used
gonna find
around the world, by
Cantarian
the way,
charges?
Mr. Speaker, for benefit payments in countries all over the world. In fact, each country needs to specialize that system because, of course, benefit rules vary in different countries. In fact, the number the member opposite is quoting is the total envelope that it could take for three separate benefit systems.
The Honourable Member for Montmorency, Charlevoix. Mr. Speaker, Curam is the federal version of SACLIC. The software was supposed to cost $1.6 billion. They're up to $6.6 billion, and that money comes from taxpayers' pockets. This week, the Prime Minister told us that everything is fine, all well and dandy, $5 billion cost overrun, that's fine, that's, a success story. There are 85,000 seniors waiting for their benefit payments. this government, they spend freely, they downplay their failures, and they pat themselves on the back.
Mr. Speaker, on the contrary, I've been in front of committee talking about these numbers and being very transparent with Canadians. In fact, here's the number, 7.7 million recipients of OAS on the new system receiving their benefits on time without a hitch. There are some cases that are more complicated. They are paper-based applications. We have dedicated staff working with these individuals. If the member opposite has a person in their riding that needs urgent help, we can also do that. These payments can be processed within 24 to 48 hours.
Honourable member for Foothills.
The Agriculture Minister gave his word to farmers that he would support a request for emergency use of strychnine. Prairie farmers were devastated last season, some losing 20% of their yield. Denying the request from Alberta and Saskatchewan is another Liberal broken promise when farmers needed them the most. It's also further proof that this Agriculture Minister does not have clout at the cabinet table. Will the minister keep his word to farmers? Will he reassess this decision with the lens on economic impact and food security?
Yes. Honourable Minister of Agriculture and Agri-Food.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for the question from my colleague. Extremely important question for the Prairie Provinces in Alberta, Mr. Speaker. I'm certainly disappointed, and I've said it publicly, that I supported the application. I'm disappointed in the PMR's decision, but ultimately they're an independent agency, Mr. Speaker. We'll keep working with the provinces and the farmers to find an effective alternative, Mr. Speaker. It's crucial that our farmers and producers have the tools they need to feed Canadians, and we'll do all we can to help them. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Foothills.
Disappointed. The Agriculture Minister gave his word to farmers. He gave his word to the provinces. He broke that promise again when farmers needed him the most. This summer, I can't understate this, if we do not have access to strychnine and the gopher population continues to explode, the damage on the prairies will be catastrophic. Again, will the minister keep his word to farmers? Will he reassess this decision, or will he see another disaster on the Canadian prairies?
The Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I went before committee, and this honourable member asked me a question relevant to what I advocate on behalf of the farmers about strychnine in the Prairie Provinces in Alberta. Mr. Speaker, that's exactly what I did. He's exaggerating the facts, Mr. Speaker. It's in committee. It's in the Hansard. Anybody can go and look at it, Mr. Speaker.
Getting a little loud over here again. Getting a little loud over there. We're getting a little loud. Yeah, okay. We're going to go now to the honourable member for Bow River.
Mr. Speaker, prairie farmers have warned that uncontrolled Richardson's ground squirrel populations have surged since the loss of strychnine, causing millions of dollars in losses. For decades, farmers used strychnine safely and effectively. Today's alternatives are far less effective. On multiple occasions, the Liberals committed to supporting emergency use approval. That promise has now been broken, perhaps by the Health Minister. Alberta and Saskatchewan have called for urgent action and proposed reasonable risk mitigation measures, measures the Liberals have rejected. When will the Liberals approve emergency access to strychnine for provinces that request it?
Hear, hear. The Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for the question. Again, Mr. Speaker, extremely important issue for the Prairie Provinces in Alberta. I've been there, I've seen it, Mr. Speaker. We're working very closely with the Department of Health, who's in charge of PMRA, and we'll continue to advocate on their behalf. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable member for Moose Jaw Lake Centre Lanigan.
Well, Mr. Speaker, that answer doesn't deal with the crisis of bad Liberal policy in my province. There is an emergency. Farmers across my riding have been sounding the alarm bell for years. The loss of strychnine, the ban of strychnine has led to uncontrolled gopher populations devastating crops. The government of Saskatchewan, rural municipalities, and farmers have called for emergency access to strychnine. The Liberal minister committed to farmers in my province that he would support emergency use application. Will the government listen to farmers and for once keep their promise?
The Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Very important question again, Mr. Speaker. We seem to be on a roll today, Mr. Speaker, in the opportunities of strychnine. We'll continue to advocate on behalf of the Prairie Provinces and Alberta. I've had consultations with both ministers responsible for those provinces, and I'll continue to communicate and collaborate with those ministers. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Terra Nova, the Peninsula.
Yesterday, these Liberals voted against my bill to allow Newfoundlanders and Labradorians to access to recreational food cod fishery 7 days a week like the rest of Atlantic Canada. Now they're fishing for excuses. They wrongfully state that we never did any consultation, and they're spreading misinformation and imagining new fees. Why don't one of these Newfoundlanders stand up and tell us why they don't put political parties behind them, add amendments to address any of their concerns, and work with us to make better policies for Newfoundland and Labrador?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Fisheries and Ocean.
Mr. Speaker, fisheries management decisions must be rooted in science for the long-term economic prosperity of coastal communities. Our government will continue to make evidence-based decisions through meaningful consultations.
L'honorable député d'Argenteuil.
The Honourable Member for Argenteuil, La Petite Nation. Mr. Speaker, Budget 2025 and the accompanying Budget Implementation Act are a bold plan to respond to unprecedented economic uncertainty with a speed, scope, and scale not seen in generations. I'm pleased that this House is also responding to this critical moment with the same sense of urgency. Earlier this week, the Standing Committee on Finance completed its clause-by-clause review of Bill C-15, which we voted on last night. Can the Finance Minister remind us what measures we are voting on? The Honourable Minister of Finance. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank my colleague for his excellent question. My colleagues do great work at the Finance Committee. Yesterday, my colleagues and I were very proud to vote for a generational budget on behalf of Canadians. This budget has historic significant investments in housing, in infrastructure, as well as in competitiveness. Our budget will also enhance Canada's sovereignty. Mr. Speaker, on this side of the House, we will always be here to build a strong Canada, to have the strongest growth in the G7, and to build the strongest economy in the G7.
Oshawa.
Mr. Speaker, yesterday the Prime Minister said Canada's immigration system is under control. In the GTA, a man in his 30s arranged to pay $140 to sexually exploit a 15-year-old. That's my daughter's age. He was arrested with cash in hand, went to court, and because of his immigration status, will not even receive a criminal record.
Seriously?
How is that under control? When will the Prime Minister take responsibility and finally fire his immigration minister?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Combating Crime.
Mr. Speaker, since we've taken government, we've implemented many changes to the Criminal Code of Canada, making it, strengthening it, over 80 different changes to the code in C-14 alone, Mr. Speaker. It is heinous what I'm hearing from the other side, and the provincial courts should be handling these cases. These cases are tried in provincial trial courts, and they should deal with these situations as adequately as they should. And so it is really upsetting to hear these types of outcomes. I think the provinces should really be looking into this.
The Honourable Member for Oshawa.
Mr. Speaker, this case is not a one-off, and good job on these Liberals blaming the provinces. It is one of several cases where serious crimes are met with soft consequences because of loopholes in our immigration system. Canadians are tired of hearing the Liberal government say that everything is under control, while headlines prove the opposite. 3,000% increase in asylum claimants, 25,000 admissions without an in-person interview. How many more failed immigration ministers will it take before the Prime Minister admits his system is broken?
The Honourable Secretary of State.
Mr. Speaker, under the Criminal Code of Canada, people who engage in criminal activity like this should be punished. There are penalties in place. There are high penalties in place. This is a failure of the administration of justice, Mr. Speaker. The administration of justice, if it worked properly, which is a provincial issue, then this incident would not occur.
The Honourable Member for Portneuf, Jacques Cartier. The Liberals need to acknowledge that there's a huge problem with the immigration system.
Honest citizens are being deported. Meanwhile, those who exploit the system are being given special treatment. There are 86,000 false asylum seekers still in Canada. 33,000 are still wanted by the Canada Border Services Agency. 25,000 asylum seekers were accepted without
Literally
any
a small
security
army of
screening whatsoever.
fighting aged men
The
just
system
running
is
around
just
Canada
not working.
unchecked.
Will the
From a
Prime
foreign
Minister
country.
do what needs to be done?
Our army literally is 30,000.
Honorable Government House Leader. Mr. Speaker, my colleague across the way knows
That's just
full well
legal
that
immigration. Imagine
asylum
illegally,
claims
there's probably hundreds of
by
thousands of
one-third
fucking.
since this Prime Minister
Goddamn.
took office. The number of international students in Canada has also decreased by one-third. And as of July 2025, the Canadian population slightly decreased after many years of growth. Mr. Speaker, our immigration system is recognized around the world as being a good one. Our system helps us attract talent to Canada, and the member knows better than what he's saying.
What?
The world's changing rapidly, and
Bullshit.
Canadians gave our government a strong mandate to protect our workers and industries, all the
You
while
know better.
building Canada
Listen,
strong.
when they start cutting heads off, I'm not getting my head cut off.
The defense industrial strategy
We need more immigrants.
defense industry and make Canada more secure. Can the Minister of Industry please share what this strategy means for Canadian workers and industries across Canada?
The Honourable Minister of Industry.
Indeed, at a time where we're investing 2% of our GDP in defense, going towards 5% of our GDP by 2035, as other NATO countries are, we're also creating jobs. And that is why through a new defense industrial strategy, we will build the ships, the drones, the planes, the right...
Oh, we're gonna build the ships, the drones, especially the drones, so we can bomb our people into submission.
125,000 jobs across the country. This is good news for Canada, and we will stop to be in dependency mode. We will be in control mode here at home.
So they're literally admitting that we're dependent on who? Stop being on dependency mode, we'll be in control mode. Okay, so who are we dependent on right now? How are we on dependence?
To allow Brookfield Renewables to send Canadian hydroelectricity out of Powell River to the United States with almost no benefit to Canadians was out of his hands and instead rested with Canada's energy regulator. The only problem is the regulator told me that they made their recommendation to reject the permit 2 months ago, and since that time it's been sitting on the minister's desk. So will the minister commit to accepting the regulator's recommendation and to denying Brookfield this permit?
Here, here. The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Natural Resources.
Digging for conspiracies about Brookfield is just exhausting.
Conspiracies? Okay.
Tired of it. We trust our regulators to make decisions, and we work at the political level to make
Pay regulators. Your lobbyists pay regulators to make decisions.
put aside some of this conspiracy searching on the other side.
What conspiracy, bro? You have mad money in Brookfield. There's no conspiracy. You're a rich fucking banker with money everywhere but Canada.
Program is shambolic, and it
I mean, you have some in Canada too, but I mean, the majority of your money's not Canada.
500,000 homes would be built, but according to the parliamentary budget officer, Canada
Zip,
Homes
zip.
will only build 5,000 homes per year. At that rate, it will take a century to build 500,000 homes as promised. The program is truly a joke. What's more, there is no definition of affordable housing. There are no targets for social or cooperative housing. There are no rules on the percentage of income someone should pay. When will the Liberals take care of people? Doesn't have a huge budget for doing their homework and research. I encourage them to do some research. We held information sessions, briefings. We properly informed all parliamentarians about what Build Canada Homes will accomplish.
What's up, One Eye? One-Eyed Willie. It's One-Eyed Willie.
This will help all communities everywhere in Canada. We will build.
You want to have a duel, eh?
Faster.
How about
we
duel these nuts, bitch? Oh, come on, I went for the kick.
We will build all
No losses, boys. Yeah. didn't. It's very good.
Indigenous women and girls. Check. Blaming international students, migrants, and asylum seekers. Housing crisis. Check. Ensuring women and gender diverse people can access the right to health care. Crickets. Will he fund access to that care?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the honourable colleague for her very important question. For too long, women's health was a blind spot in our healthcare system. Even today, women's unique health needs continue to be misdiagnosed.
Oh, look, it's a CCP agent. Sick.
While we've made real progress in advancing gender equality,
I make a very good progress. Listen to my English, very good.
too many people are, too many people around the world are rolling back.
I do not represent China.
The government will always work to remove these barriers and close the gender gap in research, ensuring equitable health care for everybody, for women.
Okay.
I wish to inform the members to the presence of the gallery, Mr. Patrick Kemwe, Minister of Media Communication from the Democratic Republic of Congo.
No, who is this Dr. Congo? The fuck? Why do we have a Congolese representative? Oh, yeah, there are a lot of Congolese in Canada. What am I talking about? What do you have to say, sir? The Congolese?
Also, draw the attention of members to the presence in the gallery of
Oh, it's just people visiting?
Undi, the 11th
Oh, it's a political visitor? Oh, shit. Okay, shit. Sorry, Dr. Congo. Combat room is here.
There are no points of order.
What just happened? What the fuck's going on in the House?
Where?
In the House of Commons?
Oh, it's a Thursday question. Okay.
It's a Thursday question.
Chief Opposition Whip has a question for the... no sound? The chief...
We want to stop here and see if we can get those fucking horses. That dickhead. What's ça? Gros taton? Con? Jette-toi même d'un pont.
The chief opposition whip has a question for the honourable government house leader.
I do, Mr. Speaker, as it's customary in this House every Thursday that we ask a question as to
God,
what the government has planned for next
you gonna
week.
give me a discount, man? Fucking
Understanding
rats.
that next week,
Nahasawi. It's like a Kawasaki, but a horse.
to meet with their constituents. So we have a break week. Our
Working
question
on
period today, we had an admission from the Agriculture Minister, an embarrassing admission that unfortunately he's going to break his promise to the provinces of Saskatchewan and Alberta. And so
also carry
for
their
the
own
benefit of
shit.
this House and for the benefit of farmers in Saskatchewan and Alberta who are desperately in need of a pest control management emergency solution, specifically the allowance for strychnine to be used in emergent situations. I'm wondering if the minister, if the House Leader of the Liberals will commit to working with us over this next week. I know that the member from Foothills has committed to work throughout the week to draft legislation to allow the minister to not have to break his promise to farmers in Alberta and Saskatchewan. So in the coming week, would the House Leader commit to working with the official opposition to draft legislation that we can work expeditiously to pass in the week in which we return to allow for farmers to be able to use strychnine in certain circumstances in the province of Alberta and Saskatchewan to ensure that we don't have a huge economic emergency develop over the prairies as we have seen over other springs in previous years.
Honourable Government House Leader.
Well, Mr. Speaker, on this side of the House, I can't think of anyone better and anyone who listens more attentively and regularly to farmers than the current Minister of Agriculture and Agri-Food. And this minister, I know, will be continuing his extremely hard work in representing their interests and reassuring them
$104 a pop. Damn, boy, here you go.
planting and growing season on the prairies. We are going to absolutely look after our farmers from coast to coast to coast, including those very hard-working farms and farmers on the prairies. We will be, of course, addressing this issue as we return to Parliament after a break week next week, where members will be in their constituencies serving their constituents. Monsieur le Président.
Mr. Speaker, this afternoon.
Okay, this guy's probably with what's his face?
Bill C-15,
Sakanis.
2025.
Didn't link up with Sakani. Where is he going? He's going this way, isn't he?
Second reading
No, he's
of
going
Bill
this way.
S2.
He's got to be with Sakani still, right? Reggie's got who?
Monday, March 9th, we will consider Bill C-20. The bill
Yes, there he is. Teriados. Come here, my dude.
Tuesday and Wednesday, we will consider Bill C-13.
I'm not gonna join their army because I don't know what they're gonna do if they get themselves in another fucking nightmare. Boys, hold up for 5 seconds, please.
C-18, which implements the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement between Canada and Indonesia. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I wish you and your constituents a very good constituency week. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you.
Orders of the day.
Everyone! Okay, so that's it. We're going to call it here. I just wanted to say basically, when they come back for the March 9th, there's not much that they're debating, but we'll have a question period. And, yeah, they don't have much time in
Thanks, Canadian Capital Clips.
March. They only have 9 days.
Alright, we're gonna put that away now. What time is it? We got 15 minutes-ish.
I'll tear your limbs!
Oh, somebody fucking sniped him? Clip him with the sword. Oh, fuck, did he?
Heavenly praise! Well fought! We won! Victory! No quarter for the craven! We whipped the bastards! No quarter for the craven! Look at that!
Yeah, 6 kills, motherfucker. Decent amount. I gotta talk to my boy here. Hold up. I gotta talk to y'all.
It's been a while.
Yo, bro, here are your horses, my G. They're expensive as fuck. It's $5 grand. I only made $4 grand on that transaction.
Who are you?
Shit, I'm trying to have fun drinking, wenching, and gambling. Many young men do that, but it seems he was a bit reckless. Now he sends news that he owes a large sum of money to Geminon the Scythe, one of the local gang bosses in the city. These ruffians are holding him as a guest in their house until someone pays his debt. I'm inclined to pay the debt. I'm not going to reward this kind of lawlessness when even the best families aren't safe. Sent word to the Lord of Physeon, but I can't say I expect to hear back. With the wars and all, I want someone to go there and free the lad. You could pay, I suppose, but I'd prefer it if you taught those bastards a lesson. I'll pay you either way, but obviously you get to keep more if you use force. Yes, I don't care how you solve it. Just solve it any way you like. I reckon 3 led by someone who knows how to handle it. No, I'll go kill this motherfuckers myself. I'll go free your dumbass brother and kill these motherfuckers myself. Where the fuck are we going? Physion? Go to Physion. Alright. Fuck's Physion. We're forgetting the war for now. Oh shit, okay, I see. It's kind of an enemy territory a little bit. We should be fine. Courier. Whoa. What's this? Courier arrives bearing a message from Regia. She remarks on your growing reputation and asks if you would consider pledging yourself as a vassal of the Southern Empire. You should speak in person if you are interested. Peace at the Northern Empire. Support our council. Okay, they made peace, so no more fighting. Oh, but they haven't made peace with these motherfuckers. Got you. I don't know who's who right now, so we're gonna try to beeline it to Physion. Right. That's cool. I don't really want to be a vassal. I just want to stay a mercenary, so just go talk to her and be like, listen, respectfully decline, but I'm going to go murder people for you. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna help you out and bury people for you and do other things. Oh, where's that? Oh, I see. Very nice. The goal right now is we're trying to get to $5 million, right? We have 26,000, so that's not gonna happen today. But, 8 minutes, 5 minutes. Mr. Caros. Alright, we're gonna do this real quick. God damn it, ate that fucking spear. I couldn't die. Where's that? My dick? Where is that thing? Shank you with that javelin. Must have bounced off. God. That's what I was looking for. I thought there was someone else there. That's an, I thought there was a quiver. A quiver. I guess we'll call it.
Come on! Take that! I'll tear your limb! You pig!
We do not negotiate or duel with the pig dog.
I'll tear your limbs!
Very nice. Did I pick up another quest? Kill some brigands. Probably have to sneak to make sure brother doesn't get murdered. So I'm gonna free you and I'm gonna kill all these guys, okay? Shit. But first, I'm gonna have to stop here. Murder this enemy force. What do they got? Infantry, range, cavalry, horse archer. They have a lot of cavalry, but I still outnumber them like quite significantly. Fail. There's no sneak and release this guy option. I gotta pay this fucking ransom. How do I use force? Wait till night? How about force? Should get out there and get out of this. But let's see if this is what it wants you to do. How do I do it by force? I'm so confused. I'm cheesing it. What the fuck? Explain. What the fuck does she call him? Her family, her something. What's the fucking name? The term she's using for the Google. What's the name of the quest? Oh fuck. Prodigal son, or prodigal son of Mestracaros. Is that what it's called? Prodigal son. To choose to rescue the son, you must locate the gang leader's house. Reveal hidden quest markers. Okay, thank you. That makes sense. Okay. Okay, I tell you. Okay. I tell you something. You look like a man. So let me just... in-town gear. I could bring a bow, but no arrows. What the fuck? I could bring a heavy recurve bow. Sling and a rock. No shield, huh? It's kind of tragic. Does it have to be during the day or does it work at night too? So press Alt to see hidden markers. I don't see hidden quest markers. I see like... Just mean in general? Oh, I see. Yeah, I got you. This little Red Dead dude, that's probably... It looks like a little house. I don't have a shield, so that's what makes this harder. Where am I supposed to go to the house or this thing? They say the house is usually named after the guy who kidnaps him. Oh, you, what are you doing? Oh, okay. Looking for, wait, no, that's not what I'm looking for, wait. Looking for someone else. Jathia, I'm looking for, just a young man. Shit. Have at him, lads. Oh, and there's the guy I was trying to save. Nice. Who do I... How do I choose who I bring with me? What the fuck is that autosave? Is that for me getting knocked out? Alright. How do I decide who comes to town with me? That's what I want. Why is it this bitch? I'm so confused. Inventory. It's this bitch. Okay, yeah, no wonder she's fucking useless. Holy shit. Oh, and I didn't deck myself out either. Oh, I decked out my stealth outfit. Okay, that makes so much sense. Why none of that? I was still weak as fuck and nothing is helping me. Okay. Let's deck this out for myself first. 12. Okay. What do we got for weapons? Can't have bow and arrow. Where's my... I can't have my fucking... choppy chop. get any type of defensive shit, huh? It's ratty. Better than what I had. This bitch. What's her top? Her top is like, yeah, useless. Literally better off with this. There's no other tops? What the fuck? She needs a cloak, but she can't use fit her. What does she have? A rusty iron arming sword. Okay, now she's a little bit more formidable. Legendary wraps are only for fucking this mode. That's interesting. One time I need a bag of rocks.